So, the fights with Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. Man, that main event and that entire card was like really dope. You know, UFC 267 definitely had a really nice ring to it. Jan Blachowicz, like, he kind of disappointed me, man. Like, I expected him to at least do something because he got dominated from the first round to the last round. Glover Teixeira just took him down in the first round and took him down with that single leg. You know, it was pretty interesting. He went single and then he went to the takedown. He got the takedown, but then he was in full guard. Now, why is Jan Blachowicz, why does he have an open, why does he have a closed guard on the bottom? Doesn't throw any submissions up. And he's getting cranked on his neck. He's just getting cranked like that. And he obviously doesn't like it. But, you know, it's like, what are you here for, dude? Like, you didn't even try to get up. You didn't try to throw submissions up. You didn't go to an underhook. You didn't try to go to a right underhook, fish for an underhook. You didn't try to throw submissions up. Yeah, but of course, you know, there's the other side of the coin, which is Glover Teixeira's top game is insane. You know, very, very good top game. Very, very good MMA jiu-jitsu. So Glover Teixeira's jiu-jitsu is probably the best in that division. I don't really see anyone else beating him. I mean, we'll think about the other fights later, but the second round, you know, Jan had definitely had a better second round than the first round. But the second round, he got dominated in the second round too. He got hit with the left hook, and then after he got hit with the left hook, he never recovered. Like, he was gone. And then Glover just takes him down with a double leg, like, straight up just takes him down with a double leg, like. Dude, you're getting taken down at will, and it's kind of disgusting because you should be winning these fights. Like, Jan Blachowicz should have won this fight. Like, what happened to his Polish power? Like, dude has so much power, but he didn't even throw leg kicks. He didn't throw anything. Like, he got taken down, so I guess he couldn't do nothing. So, Jan Blachowicz, I guess he was kind of overrated at times. Like, who did he beat? He beat Dominic Reyes, a guy that, you know, wasn't really that good. Who did he beat? I mean, Dominic Reyes beat only Chris Weidman, and Chris Weidman is a natural middleweight. So, you know, Jan Blachowicz's resume isn't exactly the best. He defended the belt against the middleweight in Israel Adesanya, so I guess you kind of overrated him a little bit. You know, light heavyweight's not. I think if he fought Rakic, he would lose. I think if he fought Yuri Prohaska, maybe he would have a better fight. But, you know, it's just interesting how this fight played out. I never expected Glover to just dominate the fight from beginning to end. Congratulations to Glover. The co-main event, which was Peter Yan versus what's his name again? Corey Sandhagen. That fight was fucking amazing, man. Like, I will never doubt Peter Yan again in my life. He is the best bantamweight in the history of the sport. I'm sorry. He's better than Demetrius Johnson. Demetrius Johnson is actually a 125er. He's not really a 135er. So he's better than Dominic Cruz, though. Because Cruz has lost to Cody Garbrandt and he lost to Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo was really a 125er. So that loss was kind of... But Henry Cejudo is one of the greatest of all time. So that loss, not that big of a deal. But losing to Cody Garbrandt, a guy that's not really that relevant right now. And then, so Dominic Cruz is not the greatest bantamweight of all time. Peter Yan is the greatest bantamweight of all time. Because, you know, given the fact that he was able to just win, in my opinion, all 4 rounds out of the 5 rounds in that fight. I gave the first round to Corey Sandhagen, but the first round really for Peter Yan was a feeling out process. You know, he has that high guard, and then he mitigates the damage that's coming from Corey Sandhagen up top. And then if Corey goes to the body, which is the counter that you're supposed to traditionally use for a high guard, the thing is, Peter Yan's expecting that. He's expecting the body shot, and he's looking, and he's waiting to counter, and then he just counters with the right hand. So his 1-2. 1-2s are beautiful. His grappling is beautiful. His wrestling is beautiful. He has really nice trips. He has really nice single legs, really nice judo throws. So, you know, he has a very diverse skill set. He can grapple with you, and he can wrestle with you, and he can strike with you. His striking is top notch. Like, the high guard is beautiful. and then every time you go to the body, he counters you up top. So it's like a beautiful, beautiful. It's like a beautiful counter to a counter. You know, the thing is, Corey Sandhagen isn't really much of a boxer. He's more of a mixed martial artist. His boxing isn't on the level that he needs to be able to beat a Peter Yan. Peter Yan's boxing is at the highest of highest levels. So his grappling is excellent too. You know, you saw that Corey was trying to wrestle a little bit, trying to mix in the takedowns with the striking, but that didn't work either. You know, he saw he was getting outclassed on the feet, so he wanted to take the fight to the mat, but he couldn't do that. So very interesting way of how he just maneuvers and uses strategy to just beat the fight, because the first round is a feeling out process. He feints, checks the reaction of the opponent, and then as the fight goes on, he takes less and less damage because he's already downloaded a lot of data. He already knows where Corey Sandhagen is going to throw after he moves with that movement. So it's just so interesting the way he adjusts in the championship rounds. Because in the fourth round, I thought that Peter Yan was going to get Corey Sandhagen up out of there. But Corey Sandhagen was able to use footwork and a lot of movement to mitigate the damage that Peter Yan put on him. Very, very interesting. Very high defense from Corey in the fifth round, because the fourth round was bad. He was about to get finished, but he recovered. He recovered between rounds, and then the fifth round he uses a lot of footwork to make the damage less. You know, to make sure that the output of Peter Yan is much less, and it was definitely the case. Peter Yan dominated the fight though. Like, there was no way in my mind that I thought that that I thought that Corey Sandhagen won that fight. Absolutely not. Now let's move on to the other fight. Islam Makachev versus Dan the Hangman Hooker. Now that fight was very obvious to me. I knew this fight. I knew Islam was gonna win the fight. Like, how the fuck is Dan Hooker gonna win this fight? He wasn't gonna be able to out wrestle him. The only chance he had was to keep the fight standing. But the problem is that he doesn't have the wrestling defense to stop the takedown. So it was as I expected. I thought Dan was gonna get submitted or taken down, smashed, or knocked out on the ground. So yeah, pretty obvious. We all knew what was gonna happen. Now let's move on to Khamzat Chimaev, which I think was the performance of the night. Now, he performed very, very excellent. There was no wrinkles in his game. I will never doubt Khamzat Chimaev again. Like, if he fought Leon Edwards right now, I think he beats Leon Edwards. I think he beats everybody at welterweight. I want to see him fight Usman, to be honest with you. I'm not even gonna lie. Now, that fight was pretty dominant. He took his back and he took him down, and he was shouting at Dana, saying shit to Dana like, "Oh, I'm killing you, I'm killing everybody," you know, like crazy stuff. Like, and he wants to fight the champ and crazy stuff, you know, and he deserves it, in my opinion. I mean, Li Jingliang was ranked 11, right? So now he's ranked. Now Khamzat takes his number. I think Khamzat's ranked. What? He should be ranked 10 or 9 now. Of course, he should be ranked 10 now because he beat 11. Very dominant. Go grab some water. Now, what other fights did I see? Oh, yes. Amanda Ribas versus Viana Jandiroba. Very interesting, masterful fight. Like, so many layers to it. So many layers to it in that fight. Man, it was an amazing fight. It was a really good fight. It was a very nice tactical adjustment from Amanda Ribas in that fight. Because in the first round... Because in the first round, what you see is, what's her name again? Amanda Ribas. Damn, I keep sneezing a lot. You see that Amanda Ribas is I mean, she gets taken down, you know? She gets taken down by Verna Jandiroba with the single leg. And Verna Jandiroba is actually a very nice chain wrestler, which was, I was surprised by that. She goes single leg, and then she transitions to half guard sweeps from the ground. And she tries to go for the underhook with the high underhook on the left side or right side. Doesn't really matter. She was able to take Amanda Ribas down in the first round. And she was able to just control the fight. I thought she won the first round, in my opinion. The second round, Ribas was able to keep the fight standing. And Verna Jandiroba was mixing the wrestling and the striking. She was trying to take her down, but Ribas did an excellent job of just defending the defending the takedowns. And in the third round, she really put it on that girl. What's her name? Verna Jandiroba. She really put it on her, like really badly. I thought the fight was about to get stopped, but Verna Jandiroba just stuck in there. Good performance. The other fights, I didn't really give a fuck about. Oh yeah, Zubaira Tukhugov. I watched that fight too. Very masterful performance by Zubaira Tukhugov. What's the other guy's name? I forgot. He was just mitigating the damage from the leg kicks and moving forward and staying in the phone booth and using a lot of boxing. He mixed in the wrestling a little bit, but the guy was actually really good at takedown defense, and if he got taken down, he go right back up. So it was just something that I guess it was a learning performance for him, but definitely he's gonna be a problem for a lot of other fighters. Like, no doubt. Zubaira, at 145, he's obviously not gonna be able to beat Brian Ortega, or he's not gonna be able to beat Max Holloway, but I think he can be a good top 10 contender in the coming years. Who else was fighting? Maybe I should get some people. The women's fights I already covered. I covered the Glover Teixeira. I covered the Islam Makachev fight. What other fight was I looking forward to? Maybe I forgot what fights I watched. The Leech, I already covered Khamzat Chimaev. Everything is covered, actually. The ones I cared about. There was actually some really fun fights too. There was? Not really. I mean, the fun fights... there wasn't really that many fun fights, but you guys want me to matchmake for the UFC right now? Let's go. I think that... Yes, I know exactly what I was going to talk about. I think Islam Makachev needs to fight Dariush now. I think it's time. I think it's time that Islam Makachev fought Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush is number 3. He has a 7-fight win streak. Islam Makachev has a 9-fight win streak right now, so match them up and we'll see who wins. Beneil Dariush has very nice chain wrestling. Beneil Dariush has very nice striking. Beneil Dariush has very nice ground game. So I think it's going to be a very good challenge for Islam Makachev, and I think that's a good contender fight for the title. I think that the winner of that is definitely ahead of the line against ahead of Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler. In my opinion, I think Justin Gaethje needs to win 2 fights to get a title shot. I think if he beats Michael Chandler, he needs to fight, fight someone else, win, then you get a title shot. Because Oliveira's going to fight Dustin Poirier, right? The winner of that should fight the winner of Beneil Dariush and Islam Makachev. And then the winner of that should fight the winner of Chandler and Gaethje. But that means they get a title shot after one fight. I take that back. Justin Gaethje, maybe he can sit out and wait, but I think he should fight 2 fights. The winner can fight that person, Chandler, and the winner of Chandler and Gaethje. But I think if either fighter wins, they have to stay active. I feel like they have to get another fight in, because it's going to be a while before all of those matchups are over with. Because first we have to see Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira. I think Dustin's going to win that fight. So let's assume Dustin wins that fight. Who's he going to fight next? He fights fucking... he has to fight the winner of Islam Makachev and Dariush, and then that's pretty much it. That's very nice. That's simple. It kind of takes care of who's going to fight for title in the correct order, in my opinion. I think definitely that is the number 1 contender fight, Dariush and Islam Makachev. I don't think, who can tell me otherwise? What other fight do you think is the number 1 contender fight? Because it can't be Justin Gaethje. He lost his last fight for the title, so he already fought for the title. And Michael Chandler, he lost his last fight for the title. He already lost He had the opportunity to fight for the title, but he already lost. So now he has to come back and win to get another title shot. That's how it works in this business. I think that's the most logical fights to make, in my opinion. Now, what do I think about light heavyweight? Who should Glover Teixeira fight next? Glover should fight Yuri Prohaska. You know, that's simple, pretty obvious. Or maybe we could see Rakic fight Prohaska for the next fight. But Glover Teixeira has to fight someone anyways. Like, he has to fight someone. So, the next fight, he has to fight someone. He's not going to get a rematch with... Jan Blachowicz is not getting a rematch. He got dominated in the whole fight, so... There's no way he's getting a rematch. It's not like it was a quick KO like Weili Zhang and Rose Namajunas. It was a domination from start to finish. So you have to work your way back up. What about Anthony Smith? He's on a 3-fight win streak or something like that. I think he need a couple more wins maybe to get into title contention. But right now he's teetering on the edge. He's coming closer. You know, he just needs maybe if he beats Rakic, title shot. If he beats Rakic, title shot, 100%. But Glover Teixeira already beat him. Like, why would I want to see that fight again? I don't really want to see that fight again. I want to see Smith fight Yuri Prohaska, and then maybe we can make... Actually, that's a good idea. I want to see Glover Teixeira fight Yuri Prohaska, and then the winner fights Anthony Smith versus Alexander Rakic. Those two, the winner of that fight the winner of that. Simple, very simple, just like that. And then what do I think about Thiago Santos? Who do I match him up with? Good. That's an interesting one. I'm not sure. Maybe Sean Strickland or something. Sean Strickland's a 185er. Okay, what do I think about the 185 division right now? Very good answer. It's obvious. It's not even hard to figure out. Israel's gonna fight Robert Whittaker, and then the winner fights Derek Brunson versus the winner of Derek Brunson and Jared Cannonier. Simple. That's just like that. 145. Who's the next contender? Featherweight. It's an interesting one. Volkanovski. I mean, yeah, Max Holloway. The winner of Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez, which is in December or something. So that's an easy one. He's just gonna have to fight Max Holloway versus the winner of that. Who do I think should fight for the 135 title? It's obvious. Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. Simple. Very simple. Matchmaking. It's easy. Dana has an easy job. That's an easy job. It's easy. Just those fights. That's the fights that need to happen. The guys with the win streaks and the guys that have the most hype. Khamzat. What do I think? Oh, what do I think about 170? That's a good one. Well, obviously, Kamaru Usman's fighting Colby Covington. Good fight. Leon Edwards is fighting Jorge Masvidal, so that's going to be another fight. I think that's a contender fight, but if Masvidal wins, it's kind of interesting because if Masvidal wins and Usman wins, then that fight's not going to happen because he beat him twice. We don't want to see that again, right? But if Colby wins and Masvidal wins, that's a fight that's going to happen straight away. That's the fight. That's the fight to make. That's the only fight to make. What do I think about Edwards? I think Edwards beats Masvidal, but the thing is, if Edwards gets knocked the fuck out by Masvidal, no title shot. It's over. Doesn't matter. 10 win streak, doesn't matter. All of that is gone out of the window. Just like Tony Ferguson, he had a 12-fight win streak. He never got a title shot. So, it's the game, man. It's just crazy. Ooh, I'm going to make that Clarissa Shields video next. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the full card. Matchmaking for the whole UFC. The other fighters in the top 15, they can just be matched together, like pretty close fighters. Or you're fighting this guy? Okay, wait for the winner. And then you fight that guy that's number 13. Number 13 fights number 15. Number 14 fights number 9. Then if 14 wins, he goes to 7 or 8. 7 fights 10. 11 fights 16, blah, 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 whatever. I think it's simple. Numbers, just put them together. And then there's hype. Whoever the fighters want to fight, make that fight depending on how things work. Easy to make.